Guys, welcome to the program. My name is Joker with a face radio and a voice for print. Came across this article and the attached videos to go with it. This is why men in particular, but especially younger men, say the job market is rigged against them. And it's another video of the day in the life of a female software engineer working for Microsoft. She's not an American worker. She works in India. This is the type of job that would have been a man's at one point in time, and especially being Microsoft being an American company, it probably would have been a young American man's job. Hopefully he could have this job and grow into be an old American man working this type of job. But instead, it is shipped off to India, problem number one for an American company. Problem number two, given to a woman. And number three, the woman does literally nothing all day long. And guys here in the States or in the UK or in Australia or mostly in Europe, all these other places are screaming for work, saying, how am I supposed to afford anything? Why am I being held out of this job? When it's an H-1B visa, in many of these cases, job. And then when guys say, okay, well, they're not hiring for technology jobs anymore because I'm not brown or I'm not a woman or I'm not part of the LGBT community, I guess I'm going to have to go to blue-collar job. And then the blue-collar jobs are given away to immigrants, and the government looks you dead in the eye and say, well, this isn't a job you'd want to do anyway, so we're giving it away to other people. When the truth is, yes, men will do these jobs. They just expect to be paid appropriately for the type of work. And if it's really sucky and it's hard to do and people don't want to do it, you must pay more. But instead of doing that, they give these jobs away to migrants coming over the border. That's happening in UK, it's happening in France, it's happening in Germany, it's happening in the United States. It happens all over the place. Also, while I think of it, at the end of this video, I'm going to answer some of the critiques or the comments that you had about the video that I dropped out earlier. Are the working men really screwed or just lazy? I have some thoughts on this. I want to respond to some of what you said. I will do that at the end of this video. From the New York Post, Microsoft employees slammed for time spent on breaks and grabbing snacks in a viral Workday video. Working hard or hardly working? Mansi Singhal, a 24-year-old software engineer, has gone viral several times over after she revealed a day in her life at Microsoft office where she works in Hyderabad, India, and it looks like an Instagram reel. Between a 45-minute breakfast break, a dessert run, a quick gaming interlude, Singhal's representation of office life has many people baffled and wondering when she gets any work done while being simultaneously jealous of the wild variety of snack offerings. Social media users analyzed her video intensely, and given the timestamps included, many suspect her day is made up of more breaks than the average office worker. I would go so far as to say her day is more breaks than actual work. And this is the problem that guys have. I'm one of them, right? I used to work for Cisco. I was a network engineer. If I went back to work for Cisco, my job might not even be there anymore. It might be H-1B visa'd out. It might be being given out to another country. As a matter of fact, about the time I was leaving, many of our programming jobs and our analyst jobs were being farmed out to India. And no shade against India. They were very hard to understand. They were difficult to work with because they didn't understand what we were trying to express to them. And so there was a lot of miscommunication. Now, granted, they were speaking English. It's not like we were speaking Indian, but it still makes communication difficult, especially for an American company. And then you've got guys here in the States saying, I would love to have a job like this, but they won't hire me, or they don't pay enough, or there's no benefits, or I got laid off, whatever. And then they see the jobs going overseas. And then they see them going to women like this that aren't even doing anything. I tried to pull up the video, and apparently she scrubbed it because she was so embarrassed of it, because she was getting so much pushback for it. But nonetheless, people on X did dig it up. 9 o'clock, she punches in, grabs a coffee, then eats breakfast at work. 9:45 starts work. She's not starting work till almost 10 a.m. 11 o'clock, snacks, quick snacks. So she's technically been at work maybe an hour and 15 minutes. but probably after surfing Instagram and posting on TikTok and setting up the cameras to film this, she's maybe put in 30 minutes of work almost by lunchtime. Free food, of course. 11:30 team discussion. Based on the amount of volume in this, it sounds like two women that are looking at little drawings of something on a whiteboard at 11:30. So far she's accomplished maybe 45 minutes of work. 12 o'clock, focused work. Okay, so enough lollygagging around. I really need to get to work. It's 12 o'clock in the afternoon. She's probably typing an email. 1 o'clock lunch. We've got 2 hours, maybe at most 2 hours under her belt. Looks like she got Subway for lunch. 1:30 dessert. $1:45 post-lunch chilling. 2:15 back to work. Microsoft has reported very good income. They're doing well for themselves. Microsoft is laying off people to hire AI. Microsoft just laid off 9,000 workers, but extended the H-1B visas, or HB1, whatever it is, visas for 4,200 people in India, ironically. Where are the men in this? So far, I've only seen women in all the work groups and all the meetings and all the lunch and all the hangouts. I've only seen women. It's a damn near empty office. How is Microsoft staying afloat? Where are the men actually doing the work? How much money is this person making? Could not this be filled with, couldn't one hardworking guy replace 5 of these women and give him 2 times their salary? The company would be saving money. He'd be making a great salary, and you'd actually get more work done. 4:45, small break. So she's worked 3, maybe 4 hours so far, and it's almost time to go home. Back in the lounge room. Up now at 5 o'clock, snacks. This is why they're all fat. Wrapping up work at 5:30. Well, your last break was 5 o'clock snacks. Now you're wrapping up work, which is basically setting your out of office on your email, sending some last little emails. This doesn't count as work. 6:30 log out. So what did she do all day? She sent some emails. She talked to a couple other women. Where's the I sat down and programmed? She's a software. What did they say she was? A software engineer? Where's the programming? Where's the doing the technical work? Where's the problem solving? Where's the actual coding? Where is all of it? Banteg says the most generous read is 6 hours, 15 minutes of work and 3 hours, 10 minutes of break. That's the most generous, not counting setting up the camera time and emailing and surfing TikTok and surfing Twitter and surfing Instagram. And she logs out and takes photos of herself. And the little tram comes to pick her up. Do you understand why men today that say, I will work hard, I want to earn a living, this is a job I would like, they say, nope, we're going to give it to a foreigner. And then guys say, all right, well, I guess I've got to do manual labor. Nope, you can't do that. Industrial, manual labor, manufacturing, American men don't want to do that, so we're going to give it to immigrants. What are the guys supposed to do? No wonder they're so flabbergasted. They're stuck working as a barista or a stock boy at a local grocery store. We're giving everything away to everybody else. From Fortune, Microsoft lays off 9,000 in AI drive, bringing total jobs cut to 15,000 this year. Oh, and you could say, well, okay, I understand job cuts are a thing. Microsoft has boatloads of cash on hand. Microsoft is growing as a stock. They're not in any struggles. They're just laying off people. They don't need them anymore. You say, okay, well, maybe they're getting rid of the chick they just showed. Nope. They just caught 40 more in Washington State as of yesterday because they're investing in AI, and they're going to have AI do a lot of these jobs. Microsoft denies H-1B visa use linked to layoffs after J.D. Vance criticism. Microsoft laid off 9,000 people, 15,000 people in total, but they've extended 4,712 visas. They say, well, we didn't lay anybody off to hire immigrants or people in another country. These are job extensions. Okay, but why are you extending the jobs of people like this woman? Why does she still have a job? Why are you extending the job of this woman instead of letting her go and hiring somebody for an American company in America? This is from Financial Express. 1.7 million immigrant jobs vanish in latest U.S. data. Indians facing new employment risk. They say latest U.S. poll data has painted a worrying picture for foreign workers, specifically for the Indian community living in America. According to National Foundation for American Policy analysis, foreign-born labor force has shrunk by 735,000 since January 2025. A broader data set indicates an even deeper dent. About 1.7 million immigrant workers who held jobs at the start of the year are no longer on U.S. payrolls. And Americans are picking up these jobs. Now, they go down in here saying the anti-immigrant rhetoric that helped Trump return to power is now reflecting in America's workforce reality. Native-born employment is still climbing up almost 2 million jobs between July 2024 and July 2025, yet immigrant employment fell 1.4%, or about 452,000 jobs. Good. I'm sorry. I'm for immigrants. If you're here legally, I'm for you being here. I have no problems. I don't like the illegal immigrants being here, skipping the line in front of legal immigrants. If you're legal here, I don't care. But that being said, if you're a native-born American worker, you should have a job first, because we're born here. We're raised here. This is our country. And if you want to come be part of that country, that's fine. And you want to assimilate, that's fine. But we can't hurt American citizens for people coming abroad into our country. That just doesn't make any sense. You're telling the people that are born and raised here, well, you come second best because we're going to allow these immigrants in on these visas. We're going to pay them less, and we as a company will thrive. These immigrants will do fine, but you, Mr. American, that can't work for an American company, you're not going to work for us. That makes zero sense. And I understand why young people are pissed to the nines about this stuff. They say routine H-1B extensions are now getting harder as MAGA, which is the Republicans, I guess, is vilifying them for taking away high-paying jobs. Even U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance joined the incorrect rhetoric by suggesting Microsoft replace the laid-off. Okay, they didn't replace them, they just extended them. The DHS has made the renewal process more difficult by requiring time-consuming requests for evidence. Even EB2 and EB3 priority dates have slid further back. America's labor market is not yet in free fall, but it's unmistakably tilting against immigrants. Unless policy course correction arrives soon, the cost will be felt on both sides of the Pacific. I know this makes people angry when I say this, but good. When I was at Cisco, I worked with guys from overseas. I like them. I like the guys that came over from India and China. I have nothing against them. But if you ask me, should those guys be able to get paid less, come over and immigrate into our country and take jobs from Americans? My answer is no. Should they do it in the UK or EU? No. You have to take care of the native citizens first. Now, their arguments are, well, they wouldn't do these jobs. No one would do these awful jobs. I guarantee you, if you said to an American, this illegal Latino is going to pick these tomatoes for $5 an hour, will you do it? With no health care, no benefits, nothing. But he'll do it. An American's going to say, no, that's backbreaking, awful work. That's what they use for Americans won't do this work. But since it's such bad work, if you paid them $15 or $20 an hour, I'd probably be out there getting my exercise, getting some sunshine, and hanging out with 50 other guys just laughing, having a good time as we pick tomatoes. It's all about supply and demand. If the demand is high and the supply is low, the money's good. But when the demand is low and you have immigrants coming across illegally and the supply is high, then you have rock bottom wages, and Americans aren't going to do that. And when we turn around and say, yes, but what about the jobs Americans do want to do, like these ones for Microsoft? What guy would not love going in and farting around for all day, working for 2 or 3 hours and probably making close to a 6-figure digit job for Microsoft? What guy wouldn't want to do that? So guys say, well, certainly do that. That's a great job. And they say, no, we're going to give it to H-1B visa holders, not you. So yes, guys are extremely pissed off. And it's these women, it's all this life of the day of people that are taking it from us. Here's another example. Many tech companies offer communal working spaces like this one in Microsoft Office in Gurgaon, India. So here's a second huge Microsoft complex in India, not the one she was working at. And what do you see? You see three women and one dude doing some work, and the office is mostly empty. Here again, you see some engineers, but this is in India. It's not in the United States for an American company. Why? Because they're cheaper workers. They will work for much less than Americans will. But Americans need more because of our cost of living here. Modern tech and Silicon Valley style offices have garnered reputations for wild office environments, with many buildings offering amenities ranging from free lunch, cold brew on tap, to hammocks to relax in. But social media users seem to think Sengal's daily in-office routine takes the madness to the next level. This woman started her lunch at 1 and didn't resume work until 2:15? Unless she's trying to eat an entire ham by herself, that's crazy, one person wrote. The adult daycare label is more than earned. I'm surprised there's no designated nap time. Some users have stumbled across the video also have wondered how Singhal has managed to hold on to her job, especially amid the tech company's recent layoffs, which impacted 9,000 employees. But the software developer recently posted on her Instagram account celebrating 2 years at Microsoft, so she must be doing something right. Yeah, she's making a whole lot less than the American employees that are getting laid off. That's what she's doing right, even though she's not doing anything. That's what it looks like to me. Somebody else says, this is the schedule of a hard worker at Microsoft, vouched a former employee under a post on X. The slackers are coming in at 11 and leaving at 4. With all the amenities, flexible work opportunities, and breaks taken throughout the day, some social media users have labeled office environments like Singhal's actual adult daycare. But other corporate employees say this kind of treatment is the bare minimum, especially in an era where many jobs can be done from home. For full RTO, which is return to office, if they want workers to go back to pre-COVID, the office needs to go pre-COVID too, one ex-user explained, emphasizing the right benefits are a big push in boosting in-office attendance. Look, I know you guys got mad at me for the video I did earlier. This is the people I'm talking about when I say people are just big children now, and they don't know how to make sacrifices. They don't know how to work hard. And you guys are right, in many ways. I'm right in many ways. That's the whole point of my video earlier today. I think these people are lazy. I think they could be working a lot harder, but they don't get pushed to work a lot harder because they'll quit. Because Microsoft says, well, they won't come into the office. We can't keep people in the office because we have to give them free snacks and nappy times and times to exercise and have fun with friends, because young people today just won't sit down and do work. And young people say, I want that type of lifestyle. I don't want to go in and grind out 12-hour work days, 6 days a week, and die of a heart attack by the time I'm 53. I understand it. I understand it. But in the same token, you have to be able to look at this and understand why me, a person that 10 years ago was doing this, but I'm showing up at 7:30 a.m., I'm eating lunch at my desk, I'm leaving at 7:30 p.m. or 6:30 p.m., and the stress level was through the roof, but I felt that was kind of the deal when they're paying you $120,000 a year to do this stuff. Now people want the $120,000 a year, and they want adult daycare all the time. And this is, I think, another reason why young men are so pissed off, because this job goes overseas. They're probably paying her the equivalent of $30,000 US. She can barely do some work because she's not really costing them very much because she's not an American. An American would probably want six figures for this job, but in my mind would expect it to be working a lot more than nothing. I don't know, maybe that's part of the disconnect. Maybe that's the difference between my generation and the last generation. I don't know. But I look at this and I've got to, if you're paying her $25,000 a year US and she gets a little bit done, fair deal. I understand why you want to hire 10 of them for $250,000 and maybe you get 2 or 3 engineers work out of them. But in my mind, Microsoft is an American company, hired 1 or 2, go get them fired up guys, pay them $125,000 a year, and those 2 guys for $250,000 will probably run circle around 10 women like this, and you've got 2 Americans that are now living a good lifestyle that can go out and buy a home and can go out and afford a car and maybe have a life. Why must we always make these sacrifices? I think that's what young people are angry about today, and I get it. And lastly, I do want to address this about the video I did earlier. It's hard because I get a whole lot of, oh, what a boomer take. Well, if you listen to the video that I did earlier, I said the young people are right, that it is tougher today. And so, yes, I understand the boomer take on a lot of things, and I'm in agreement. I'm fully in agreement. Young people are kind of screwed today. They really are. And I understand why they want to give up and they don't think it's worth it anymore. And they just feel like they're running around in loops. And why better yourself? You're never going to cross the finish line. Why keep running the marathon? Like, what's the point of running a marathon that never ends until the grave? There is no finish line. Why should I bother running? I understand that. I do. My only argument is that I think with so many young people being like this, there's at some point in time, companies either collapse or hopefully, they start looking for the hardworking people that show up early, work hard, stay late, and they go back to basics. Now, maybe that's not going to happen, or it's certainly not happening now, but that's my hope. My hope is that if you put your nose to the grindstone, as the expression goes, and you put out the effort and you work really hard and you're smart with your money, maybe in this messed up, broken system, somehow you can win. Now, maybe you're right that you can't. Maybe I'm right that if you work hard enough, you can. I don't have the answers, but I just don't want to see the next generation or two of young men that are coming up. I don't want them to be hopeless. I don't want them to not have anything to look forward to. I want them to find ways that they can still succeed even if the system is against them. And maybe that's a pipe dream. Maybe I'm just being stupid and boomer, as you guys have called me constantly. Maybe that's the truth. But you know, my boomer father taught me how to repair a lot of things on my car and how to build things and how to be creative and smart, how to try to work outside of the system. I owe my boomer father a lot of the good things that I am as a man. So maybe some of those takes that are kind of boomer, maybe they're not too bad. I just don't think it's something that we as men need to generationally fight about. You call us out of touch old men, that's fine, I accept that. But we're still going to try to give our advice and try to help the younger generations coming up today to do their best and to survive and to maybe thrive. Isn't that in men's nature to want to help, to want to fix, to want to make the society a better world than it was for us? That's how I look at it. I do still believe in planting a tree in whose shade or in which shade you'll never be able to sit and enjoy. I still think you should go out and plant those trees even if you don't get the shade. Maybe that's all I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to give some of you guys some hope that maybe you can find a way to be successful despite everything that's going on, because that's what I want for you. And maybe it was different, and maybe I could do it and you can't. But I can't help but thinking just not trying is just the wrong thing to do, and that bums me out. I don't know. I don't have the answers, but I can tell you this. When all you guys out there are seeing people like this, taking your jobs from the good jobs with these visas, and then you turn around and try to get in manufacturing or roofing or AC, HVAC or welding or something like that, and you see people coming across the border doing that job for half of what you do it for, and so you can't get those jobs. I understand. I get it, and it's a whole new world than when I grew up. I don't have the answers. I really don't. But I can tell you, I think people are just mostly pissed that our jobs are being given away to people that aren't us. I know that's what would bother me the most. If I went over to France and the French had a lines of men for a job and they came to me and said, we're going to pay you less than we would pay them, but you will have a job and we will at some point give you a visa or a green card or whatever. And eventually you'll be able to become a citizen and, you'll be able to live and be over here. I would do it. But how would those Frenchmen or Englishmen or Germans feel about me? They'd hate me. They'd hate me for it. So why is it bad that we don't like people from other countries doing it to us?